Preparing for the future workforce. And if you haven't noticed, it's already started. We've got future workforce is coming into our midst every day. And the folks that are, let's say, part of a generation that's, kind of like me, we're preparing to leave the workforce. So what's causing all the urgency? Well, first of all, there's a lot of technology advances that are going on in the industrial sector. And so you have one problem, just trying to keep up with all these technologies. You heard this morning about big data and cloud and analytics and all that. So that's a big chore to take care of right there. But also plants. Plants are becoming more automated. Why? Because you're trying to squeeze every last energy wasting out of it. You're trying to get all the profit you can out of those plants. So automation tends to be getting more and more sophisticated. It requires a lot of understanding. Obviously, the pressure to keep the costs down, keep the profits up, that's why we're in business. In the U.S., we're starting to see more reshoring, bringing some of that manufacturing that went offshore back. I mean, for a number of reasons. The U.S. is now moving into the gas-rich world, and that's bringing industry here to capture that in terms of making product right here. So the higher concentration of older workers leaving the workforce causes a little bit of a challenge, because they're not going to be here forever. And so, why is it a big problem? First of all, the older workforce, they know how to work things. And some of the things that they know how to work, it's hard to find other people who want to know how to do these things. I remember speaking to a oil refiner that says he's having a hard time getting people who can repair, or who know how to repair, their analyzers. These are complicated devices. And getting people who are interested in doing that is a challenge. Many people were there when the plant was built, and they know where all the things are hidden, and they know where all the upgrades happen, even if it was not documented, which is another issue in itself, that we find that sometimes changes happen and no one thought to update the drawings of the original implementation. So these are problems. They know how to live through emergencies. They've had those pumps fail. They've had the compressors go or machine shutdowns. And they know how to fix those situations where the tank overflowed and things like that. So these experienced workers are all there. They know what to do. They also have a sense of how the plant feels. So they know they can hear something and they say, what, that doesn't sound right. So they have all this experience, over 20 years of experience, in some cases 30 and even 40 years of experience. So a lot of these things are not written down, so that's a big problem. So in comes the replacements. And, it's not a digital, open, close kind of a thing. They've been people coming into the workforce all along. But as this big population of boomers, of which I'm one of them, as we move out, we're a big, huge demographic. So as we start to move out, it's going to require a lot of these new folks to come in. And the Pew Research did some very interesting statistics on, or I should say a survey on, what's the differences. So first of all, the millennials, as they're called, coming into the workforce, are digital natives. They understand how all this stuff works. They come to the workforce. You don't have to teach them how to use a cell phone. They would probably teach you how to use it. But anyway, they know all these things, and they're young people. They have energy. They're smart. So the trick is, how do you get these smart people doing the things you want them to do? So the question is, are you ready for this new workforce? Do you have, they are more comfortable with technology and they expect it to be there. So the other things we've learned is they value a secure job. That doesn't mean they're going to stick around forever, but they do value value having a secure job and an interesting job. They also look for some flexibility in their work. They're not 9-to-5 kind of people. They're also not tied to an employer, which of course went out the window a long time ago, but basically they're looking for an interesting job that'll be satisfying. So right now, if you look at a lot of the millennials coming into the workforce, they tend to stick around about 2 years. And there's probably a good reason for that, because they didn't find initially the job they wanted. So the question I have for you is, have you created an environment for them to thrive in? Because you don't just want to have them stick around just because they're nice to have around. You want them to work and be productive and want to hang around and do good things for you. So first thing is, they're coming to you educated. But are they educated with the work that you have for them to do? So have you built the necessary training facilities or training tools or just training environment? Have you put in place some kind of formal activity so that it's more than just OJT type of training? Do you have a mentoring program so that the experienced workers can help these young, very smart workers know how you do the job? Is your plant equipment ready for them? Are you looking at old technology, which they can't relate to? Or are you looking at new, modern technology, which is similar to what they would expect to see? Hopefully not many of you have plants that look like the one on the left, but there's still plants around here that look like that. Is your software application smart? Because one of the things you're going to have to deal with is that knowledge that's sort of ingrained in the older workforce is going to go out the window. No matter how much you want to capture that, it's going to go away. So you've got to have smart systems in place. You've got to have an alarm management, smart alarms. You don't want these things called alarm floods to happen, particularly if you have new people running the plant. Do you have real-time analytics? Are you able to predict when things are going to happen? Do you have real-time performance management, so that they know when they're doing something right? So not just are you saving energy, but are you making money? Do you have optimization and advisory to the personnel, so they know that the optimization and advanced process control is doing the right thing? So is your applied technology creating the next generation, which we have been calling the knowledge worker? So we want to not just replace the older worker with a younger version of himself, but we'd like to replace him with someone who is going to be more knowledgeable, not just about the plant technology, but also about how to make good business decisions. Can you take advantage of their social networking skills? Does your messaging board look more like A or more like B? They're obviously going to expect to have some sort of social interaction electronically, and have you built that into your technologies? Are your procedures ready for the next generation? Are you more like the procedures on the left, clipboard, paper-based, built out of books, or are they more electronic? We'll hear more about that later. But how are you delivering procedures? How are you getting the new worker ready to do his job? And then another important thing is the culture. Is your culture ready for these young people with technology capabilities and wanting to work hard and wanting to produce good things? Does your corporation have a vision that includes the impact on individuals? Obviously, a lot of the folks in the room, safety is an important issue. It should be an important issue to everybody. But safety is certainly paramount in a lot of the industries we run. So you have a safety culture. Do you have a culture around sustainability? Not just safety, but also environmental and other energy savings and so forth. Do you have a culture that rewards innovation, that is adaptable, that believes in continuous improvement, not just doing a project and being done with it, but continually looking for new ways to improve? Do you have teams? Do you have coaching? These are things that the new workforce would certainly adapt to very quickly. Sharing of ideas and best practices. And finally, the point I'd like to make is a professional advancement program. Do you have a way that they can see if they stay with your company and you recover the investment you've made in training them? Do you have a reward for them somewhere down the road? Can they move in the structure of your company? So that's what I have to say.